ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm backed up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
Hello. Hey, Paul, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Marie. How you doing?
I'm fine. Well, we are coming on live, Ain't to Ain't. Thank you, Mr. Julius Hall. Thank you, AB, for coming up with the idea, the brilliant idea for Incarceration to Incorporate, and our nice, sweet host, Mr. Julius Campbell, in his absence. I'm coming to talk about the 3 weeks that we had with the young men for what is called visual and
Visual,
no, it's called visual and verbal
verbal
intervention.
intervention. That's right. Visual
Yes,
and verbal intervention.
verbal, visual and verbal intervention with the young kids. We had 10 young men who are system impacted, and they have been doing an awesome job. For the first week, we had two mothers to come in who had it's about gun and gang violence and how we can make a difference in young men's lives so they wouldn't go down the road that we have went down, and that is prison, trying to stop them from going to prison. And we had two mothers who have lost their family loved ones through gun and gang violence. Paul, would you like to talk about the two mothers that we had to come the first week to the meeting?
Yes, we had two mothers to come out and talk to us and the kids to shed some light of a personal experience of what they went through gun and gang violence. One mother, I believe, was out the Florida area. It was her son,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't even a person who was a violent person. He was a peacemaker. He was a community activist, and yet and still, he still succumbed to gun violence. And his mother is now out here going through her healing motion, sharing her story with young men to stop them from using guns, because once you use a gun and you take a life or you have to go to prison, that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? So she's out here, and we really appreciate Miss Tanaka for coming out and sharing her story with us. The other young lady, I believe it was her husband.
It was
Um,
her husband and her son.
and oh yeah,
It was her husband and her son. And what I liked about Alexis was she went as far as going to the police department, getting her husband the report of how he got killed. She shared her story with the kids and how gun violence can affect your life. How they thought the two guys who took her husband's life, they took and rode around all night long trying to collaborate their stories. But when they got with the detectives, how their stories didn't go hand in hand, that the loyalty thing that they think, how you say loyalty, you my homeboy, so we gonna ride together. But when they got behind the closed doors with those detectives, they told on each other.
each other,
So,
right?
so let me tell you something. That thing called loyalty, when it's time, when it's offering about you gonna get 30 years, it's not about loyalty. Do not take nobody's life. It is not yours to take. Gun and gang violence. That's what we're teaching them. Having those two mothers come and to share their story and to pour their heart. So at first, the young men, they wasn't so. Well, how do you think that they acted, Paul? They wasn't so adamant about. They were just listening. The first week, like that Monday, they came and they was just listening. They wasn't so adamant about how they are like the third week. But anyway, I don't want to jump the gun so far, but I don't want to jump the gun because it gets better, y'all. You understand? It gets
That's right.
better because these are 10 young men that are system impact that have been to the juvenile. And we're trying our best not to, want them to go to that path of going to prison. And I know that the men that's in Jessup prison are listening. I thank you all for listening. But we are really trying to reach our young men so that they won't travel that road. And so now, Paul, tell them about when what's her name, the lady from Memorial Hospital?
It was Miss Emily.
Miss Emily.
Miss Emily. So Miss Emily came from Memorial Hospital Trauma
Yes.
Center,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't believe that she's a doctor, but what she is a person who's experienced trauma in her life.
Yes.
Through, I believe it was her friend getting killed by a drunk driver in a car accident, and
Mm-hmm.
through her healing process, what she is doing with the trauma center is going out and showing people the effects of different things. So she
Mm-hmm.
came and gave us a really nice PowerPoint presentation, talked about the trauma center at Memorial Medical Center, talked about a few stats about how gun violence has been increasingly growing over the past few years. And it has mainly been targeting kids, if I'm not mistaken, between the ages of
10.
10 and 16. So
Yes.
it's a lot of kids now. I mean, and I really think this is something that impacted them right here. Um, because there's a lot of kids now that are being shot and being traumatized by guns out here in gang violence in these streets that they shouldn't have to experience. People who experience stuff like that in wars. You know what I mean? And now you
Exactly.
got an increasing number of kids going through the same thing that grown men do at wars between the ages of 10 and 16, and it's increasing.
Then she talked about a mother and daughter getting shot and how the young woman is paralyzed from her chest down. That is
Right.
that is really bad. And then you know what really was remarkable to me about Miss Emily, how the way she talked about this young man who got shot 24 times and how
Hmm.
they took and helped him. He got shot 24 times and he survived. That
Right.
is, guns is a terrible thing. It's not like the gun by itself is not terrible. It's who hands is in. You
Right. The intent of
cannot
use when
take
they use it.
that's
Right.
right, who hands is in. And so we want these young men to know that they do not have to live this type of life. They do not, and that is people out there that love and care for them. And so Miss Emily was just letting them see how it's kids that is in pediatric ICU, 10 years old, is getting shot more than any kid. She's saying how the crime rate from 2015 is more higher now than they have ever seen.
Right.
That is,
And it's steady increasing every year. We
yes,
might have a small dip one year, but the next year it'll double over the year before. So,
yes,
or increase greatly the year before. One thing I did like that she brought to our attention is that uh, there is a way out of the streets if
yes,
and not saying that you have to snitch, but there is a way out of the system, out of the streets, if you truly want help.
and
She
guess
also
what?
was saying about that young man that got shot 24 times. He didn't tell nobody. He basically was saying, "Hey, listen,
If you
I
let
need to
me
get out
go,
of Savannah. I want to do something better with my life."
yes,
And they have people. I believe she checks on him personally, but people who uh feel like they need to relocate, they have things in place for you to help you if
and
you
you know
feel like
what,
you
Paul?
can't get away from it yourself.
What I liked about Miss Emily, y'all, is that I didn't know this. She helped that young man. Those doctors and Miss Emily helped that young man to relocate because he knew if he had not relocated, he would have got killed. They shot him 24 times. They was already trying to kill him. So
Right.
they took and allowed him to stay in the hospital until he relocated. You know what I like what she said, and what else was saying? That
What
the
what
mayor
she said.
even came. The mayor came in his hat, in his pajamas, He did not want to be seen to
Right.
help this young man be relocated. And I'm telling you, I was really impressed by that. You
I
know,
was as well.
I really was, I was, Paul. I'm not gonna lie, I was really impressed by that.
I'm
So,
I'm, I'm being honest too. I was
yeah,
impressed with that.
I was impressed by that. So he didn't want no publicity about that, and that's so that Van, my head go off to you about that. Now I like that. So, Paul, now let's talk about the next thing. What else they were doing? The young men.
Uh, was it you talking about when we went to the funeral home?
When we went to the funeral home,
Yes, yes, we was able to
we took
go.
them on a field trip to the funeral home, y'all. And guess what? We took them to Campbell's funeral home, and we wanted them to see that this is not a joke. That this is not a joke. And the young men that we have in the group, they're from age 13 to 17.
Hmm.
And they come to us after school, and we take them out to lunch. We take them out to dinner because it's being afternoon. We take them out to dinner. We
Right.
talk to them, and then we took them on the field trip to Campbell's funeral home. And the funeral director pulled up some pictures for them to see real life graphic of a guy face, a young guy face was. I couldn't look at it. I
It was
passed the page.
mutilated.
It was
Somebody
mutilated.
had them
It
shot
could
him in
not
the face,
be put back together.
shot him
And
in the
he,
face, and left him
yeah,
a couple of days, so his face had deteriorated a bit.
and
Um, and then another thing they talked about, Marie, was how expensive it is to bury you when you are a victim of the gun and gang violence, and your family doesn't have things in place to
insurance.
bury you.
And not just that, y'all. It saddens me because these are kids. These
Right,
are kids that think that this is a lifestyle. That it's a way. It's just a way to just be in the streets to kill somebody, to take somebody. They think this is a game, and it saddens me. I'm a mother. I have 4 sons, and it saddens me that they just. I don't want to rush and tell it, but it made me so happy. It made me sad that it's coming to an end because I enjoy being with them. I look forward to Mondays and Wednesdays when I'm about to be with them because
yeah,
guess what? I see the progress in them. And the thing is, they want to be helped.
yeah.
They really, really want to be helped. You know what I like what Tree said that Marlon, his name is Marlon. You know what I like what Tree said? He
What did he
said
say?
you can't be crosstown and you can't be over there talking
Hmm.
about what you're gonna do. You got to be in the middle of it. You got to be right here
Right,
with them.
right,
Because those kids want that love. They want, you know what they want? They want that discipline. They really do. They want that discipline. I like what that young man said. You remember what that young man said when the what you call those people, the mediation people came, and the young man said this. He said, "Are you by the police officer?" He said, "The police officer take you to jail when you do something wrong, right?" Remember that, Paul?
right, right.
And
And
he
he
said
said that was a sign that he felt like the police cared about it.
exactly. You know what that you know
But
what
why
that
was that,
says?
Marie?
You know what
Why
that
why
says?
did you say that?
Huh? You know what that means to
Why,
me, Paul?
what does that mean?
Discipline.
Yeah,
That shows discipline. He want that discipline. He
right.
want that discipline because guess what? 9 times out of 10, and get a lot. Some mothers may get upset with me what I'm about to say. You cannot party with your children. You cannot smoke and drink with your children. You cannot smoke weed with them, and then you want them to turn around and respect you. It's not a two-way street. These young men want love. I really enjoy being with them. I'm telling you, this 4 weeks, we in 3 weeks, we're coming up to the fourth week.
You
And
coming
I'm
up to the
telling
fourth
you,
week.
Julius Campbell, I'm gonna tell you something. He came up with visual and verbal, remarkable man. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Our director of OAA Savannah, um, I want y'all to say a prayer for him. He lost his dad, and that's why he's not on the show right now. But I'm gonna tell you something. And the reason he know I don't like doing the show by myself without him, right? But I'm gonna
Right.
tell you that I built up enough courage, and that's why I asked Paul to be with me to do this because this really means a lot to him. He like, so I felt that I would come on and talk about the kids because like grown people, I like grown people, but I really my
Right.
heart is for the babies, Paul, right?
Right.
So
Right.
Paul, now go ahead and talk about the mediations, the part, Paul.
So I really like the mediations part because the kids, what we were able to ask the kids questions and get their perspective on different things like, do you feel like the city cares about you?
Right.
Do you like Savannah? Why don't you like Savannah? Why do you like Savannah? And the answers were very mixed. And I'm gonna break off a little bit, Marie, but we're gonna come back to this.
Okay.
When the kids first started coming, I was
Mhm.
sit. I usually sit at the door and I let them. I'm there with that sign in. I can remember
Mhm.
the first day they walked in there, kind of looking like, "Oh no, what's this? What we getting ourselves into? I don't
Mhm.
know if I want to be here." And one, from the first day, I've noticed at the end of the day, they're conversating about what just transpired and what they just
Right.
saw. So we definitely been seeing the impact. But with the mediation, I can remember that the first time the rounds of questions came around, everybody kind of went back into their shell a little bit. But there was one particular young man,
Mhm.
and I just want to applaud him and just tell him that I'm proud of him because he stepped up and was talking to the young man and became a mediator between the older people and the younger people. He
You
would
talking about
try to
John?
yeah, he would take
Yes.
things that and it shocked me. It made
Yeah.
me feel like a proud uncle or something like that
Yeah.
because he was one of the ones that in the beginning you kind of see it on his face. I kind of don't want to be here,
Right. Right.
but you see now through our visual and verbal intervention that he is becoming a person who is getting more confident in himself, who's becoming
Mhm.
more of a leader, and is ready to start making better decisions for his life.
Right. That you know what? I really my head goes off to John. It's a lot of hurt in him. It is a lot of hurt in him. And that's why I said, Paul, what I said to you today. I know I kept repeating myself
Hmm.
because when I repeat myself, I be wanting people to really hear me. Not, how people say I'm
I know,
listening, but do you really hear me?
I
Because
do.
when this is over, those young men are going to need that comfort. They're going to still need somebody to push them. So that's why I call on the president of 100 Black men.
Hmm.
Just like you say, I asked Fred to be the
Hmm.
mentor for them. They need a mentor. You understand? They need
Right,
somebody who's going to be there, who's going to say, you can't do that. Don't do that. And not
right.
just say, not just beat on them, pound it in.
But
Talk to
love
them.
on them too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Because I
Because
think,
I remember as a young man, and especially, and I'm not taking anything away from young women, and we do have all young men this round, but we are not opposed to having young women as well. Marie has been pounding and pounding and pounding the ground. Let's get some girls up in here. So
because I'm the only
she already knows that.
woman.
She already knows. I mean, it's just kind of our first cycle. So when we did try to get some girls, but because of some things that happened. It didn't happen this round, but we know next round we can have young ladies and young men. But young men actually need a tough love, but a nurturing love as well. I
Right.
know I wasn't the best child out there. I know I made a lot of bad decisions and did a lot of crazy things as a young man. But I do know as a young man, two things that I need, and you know, I love that I'm able to give them is the tough love, but yet the nurturing as well. Because that's what we even some adults need that. That's how we get past the pain, the hurt, and the trauma that we've been through. You gotta have tough love because you gotta let you know that hey, you gotta get past this. But the nurturing comes in, okay, we understand that you went through this, but let's kind of work to get past that. That's where that nurturing comes in and make you a better person, give you a different perspective. You know
And
what I
guess
mean?
And guess what? The men and women who is listening to the show, just be honest with yourself. You don't have to answer me. Be honest with yourself, because I know all of us have been through things, even as a child. Because if you don't heal as a child, the things grow up in you as an adult.
Right.
So if you don't heal that and it grows up in you, you become angry, and so you lash out, and you can lash out at the wrong people, and
And at the wrong time.
and that's how we end up in prison.
Right.
That's how we end up in prison. And I know a lot of you men wish you had not have lashed out, and wish you had that somebody to put their arms around you and tell you that it will be okay. Now, Paul, tell them about the. Let me get Paul. Tell them about when we went to
Wednesday.
feed the people. Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, we went to the Savannah Union Mission, and on Thursday, well, first before we did that, we took the boys out to eat.
Yes.
You know, let them eat, have a great time, and then after everybody was good and full, we took them to the Savannah City Mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Savannah City Mission, because I could be saying
We
it
took
wrong. I
we
know
took
I
them
would.
to we took them to the old Savannah City Mission on Bull Street.
Okay, so we got there and we helped the boys serve the people that was eat and sleep. So one of the great things I loved about that is because when I was a kid, probably about 10 or 11, I went to the Salvation Army, and I believe it was either in the Thanksgiving November time or December Christmas time, and I went to feed the homeless as a young man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if forever sparked a I want to help somebody spirit in me. Motivate always gives me motivation, and no matter where I'm at, I'm gonna help somebody. And we was able to do that. And man, the boys was all over it. They was like, "What y'all need us to do? What y'all want us to do?"
They did not complain.
No complaints, man. The
No
boys was
complaint.
smiling all the way
And
through.
let me tell you what one of them said. I told one of them, I said, I'm so proud of you. He said, ma'am, nobody has never told me they was proud of me. He said that made me feel good. Then one young man, he leaned up against the wall. He said, I feel proud of myself.
Right. And
You know, I started crying, Paul.
right. Speaking of John, I asked John, well, because he was passing out the water.
Yeah.
I'm saying that for content. Um, so I was like, "How you feel right now?" 'Cause probably midway through it, he was like, "You know what? I feel good and bad." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" So he says, "I feel good because I feel better about myself. I'm actually helping somebody." He said, "I feel bad because my arms get heavy because he was passing out the water."
He passed out and you know what? Can I tell you something? That you know what? I like the fact that they didn't put up their nose at those people. They did
No,
none of that. They were, and when I said, come on, y'all, let's get the plates, let's go, they was attentive.
very
They
much so.
really, I'm gonna tell you something. I really enjoy myself with them. I really do not want it to end. I'm talking, I
I
look
want
for
to too.
they is
And
so funny. I'm gonna tell you something. For those who are listening, man, I asked the man, let me say this. I asked the man at my job, y'all. He was a patient, and I asked him, he was an older gentleman, and I said, where have we went wrong with our children? He said, young lady, I'm just gonna tell you like this. He was about in his 70s. He said, we have dropped the ball with our children. We have dropped the ball. We have to be more concerned about our children.
right,
We
I
we
agree.
have to be, y'all. Those boys, I'm gonna tell you something. Those boys, listen, Julius Campbell, right? He had like a paper of asking them about what have they experienced with gun and gang violence. We asked them
Mm,
that the first day they came there. We asked them what that's the third week with the mediation, right, Paul? With the
mm-hmm,
mediation people, we asked them,
right.
you man, I'm telling you, y'all, kids shouldn't see those kind of things. They shouldn't have to experience those kind of things.
Right. Another thing, they shouldn't have to be desensitized to those kind of things to where they see it, they figure that's just a regular normal day
It's
thing.
just a norm. That's what Miko say. Miko, okay, Miko, y'all, is Julius Campbell. And I call him Miko. That's what Miko said. Miko was saying how when Miss Emily was there, the lady from Memorial, he was
Hmm.
looking at their faces. And you know, usually me, I was like, oh, and oh, she was saying how the man got shot 24 times, and she was showing pictures and things, and they didn't move. Their faces was not, they wasn't moved by that. But if you see that every day, you walk out your front door, you see somebody shot, that's an everyday thing, it's a given. So, you
Right.
know, when he say, well, y'all like desensitized because it's a given. I see this every day. You hear about somebody being killed every day. Now it blew my mind when that lady said, and the man that's over trauma at Memorial said, do you know how many 10-year-olds come through Memorial trauma being now I didn't know that. 10 years
Hmm.
old. We better wake up. We better wake up, fathers, uncles, cousins, men. We better
Yes.
wake up, mothers, aunties. Where is the village? You know what I told all of them when they walked outside from when we left out of Savannah City mission? I
You
told
said,
every last one of them, I was proud of them.
yeah,
I was proud of them. They was proud of themselves. They really
it
was.
was.
They was. And I just want to get on here, you all. I know this, you say, well, this is about prison. Guess what? This is about prison. This is about saying that we don't want them to go down that path. So those that are in prison in Jessup that is listening, I'm quite sure you all do not want these young men to have to travel the road where you are. And I don't want them to go there. If we can
Or
have a
worse.
better if we can have a better attorney, it can be attorney, they can be one want to be an architect.
Yeah.
Yeah, one want to
I
be an
think
architect. One
one
want to
wanted
be
to be a he wanted to be a paramedic.
One want to be a truck driver. One want to work for the ILA. Come on, let's make
Right.
this happen. Guess what? The president of 100 Black Men, he know
Hmm.
men who is down at the ILA. He know men who own their own trucking company. Let's make these things happen for them. So they can say,
Right.
you know what? We was in visual and verbal intervention, and Mr. Miko and Mr. Paul and Miss Marie, guess what they did? They cared enough about and Mr. Tree, because Tree cared. And
That's
guess what
right.
they did? They cared enough about us to make this happen. And Mr. Julius Hall, because he giving us this platform to allow my big mouth to be on here and talk.
You keep talking, Marie.
So guess what, Paul? See, Paul, no, they call me the mama of the group, and it's okay.
Yeah. And she
It's
is.
okay.
And we need you just like you are.
Thank you, Paul. And see,
You are.
Paul is the uncle of the group because he gonna give us the money plan. And God knows I need him to help me to work out my finances.
Yeah, we gotta do something. Start encouraging the boys because I know one thing is that you take something away, you got to replace it with something.
Yeah.
So we are partnering with the 100 Black Men to give them mentors, and we are working on an apprenticeship program. So if there's any business owners out there, skill businesses, HVAC, carpentry, plumbing, talent that do want to partner with OAA Savannah to help work out some type of apprenticeship for the boys. These boys, some of these boys are 17, 18 years old, getting ready to graduate high school.
Mhm.
Most of them don't look for a future in college, but I know definitely that they can have a future in different skill sets. So those of us out there who have those skill sets and want to partner with OAA, please reach out to us. Um,
Paul, and
and
let me say this. Can I say one more thing, you all? Guess what blew my mind? We was at the funeral home. So the
mhm,
uncle of the director of the funeral home, guess what he asked? He asked this one young man, Sims. He said, how old do you expect to live? Guess what he said, y'all? What he said, Paul? He said 22.
22. He was
He said he
17.
don't expect to live past 22 years old. He 15. That's young.
Mm.
That is young. Guess what? It's time for us to step up so he feel that his life expectancy can be longer than 22.
Right.
You know? And guess what I loved about that? I had liked that uncle. That uncle was sharp. He was clean. He took the time and he had taught the Sims. He really did. He said, I see you. He said, because when I see you, I see myself.
Right.
He said, you're a clown. He said, yeah, you like to joke and play, and you think everything is a joke. But guess what? Sims got to realize life is not a joke.
Right.
It's not a joke, especially when you out here in the streets. You know what I tell my children, Paul? You don't have to listen to me, and the streets don't care nothing about you. The streets, guess what? The streets have a way of teaching you. You don't take my teaching. The streets have a way of teaching, and they care nothing about you.
Not a
Nothing.
thing.
Not a thing. So
You'll
y'all,
go in the streets and you'll think you have homies, and sometimes people do. But for the most time, you ain't known enough, you ain't did enough, and actually, to be honest with you, they don't care enough to make sure you good while you behind bars. Some of them do you real bad. Start messing with your girlfriend, boyfriend.
all that. All that.
So
And my heart, and you know, my heart go out to John because I just want to say this. It had really go out to John because I had watched a video with John being jumped. And they beat John so bad on this video. So I really wish that a mentor, when we see the president of 100 Black Men, when he bring a mentor, I really wish that John can get a good mentor where John can really leave Savannah. Because right now he want to be a part of. He want to be a part of so bad. And and guess what? He want to be somebody. He do. He already somebody.
he already somebody.
He already somebody. He just want to be a part of. He just want to be a part of so bad. And it hurt my feelings so bad how they jumped and they kicked him and they beat him. It hurt my heart so bad. But you know what? He got a little head on his shoulders. And I just wish that Miss Emily, you know what, Paul? That's what we need to do. We need to reach out to Miss Emily and see if she can get John, wherever she got that young man, to see if she can get John to go there. And maybe he can have a better future. Because down here, it's not good. So that's what I think we should do. Because I always said, Paul, I said something happened to one of these young men, I don't want to know. Because I done fell in love with all of them. they like my babies.
You will.
Them like my babies, yeah.
You know, I got a son who's about to turn 23, and none of them are too far away from him.
Exactly.
I got 3 nephews and cousins and friends. I've even had some friends growing up who didn't make it past 17 years old. Wow. So to see these boys have a chance in life definitely is a motivation for me to hey, I just expect the growth out of the boys and see them do something better with themselves.
Something positive with themselves. So, I just want to say thank you all for listening, for those who are listening, for those who are in Jessup Prison listening. Thank you, Mr. Hall, for giving us this platform to share our stories, a safe platform to share our stories. Thank you, AB, for coming up with for coming up with Incarceration to Incorporate. Thank you, Julius Campbell, for being the most magnificent person that you are. I'm sorry about the loss of your father. I hope I did good tonight. But anyway, thank you, Paul, for helping me tonight and everything. Thank you so very, very, very much. And thank you, Paul, for being a part of OAA Savannah, where we encourage, empower, and educate in all that we do. So anyway, Mr. Hall, you have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
like this. I like this.